I don't know. Well, you can say what you like, can't you, really?
Yeah.
Say something, V.
Hello.
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 Hello, B.
Hi, Mom. Copey, say a sentence. Tell us how much you love Sheikh Owen.
Well, I'm very disappointed that Sheck has pinged his finger. It's very unfair. It's a fraud. I think it's a conspiracy done by Virat Kohli because he's scared that he'd be outplayed by him.
And V, tell us how much you love Dale Steyn.
Dale Steyn, conspiracy theory by
He's always in the hospital.
Virat Kohli. He broke his. He made him injured because he knew he was going to get bowled out.
By magic, Virat's powers are at such a high level he can injure people by sheer.
You know, there is actually a conspiracy theory going around right now about India. But I'll join. Well, are we recording?
Oh, we're recording. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Oh, introduce it, Noob. So
cricket. Us, and we're back from our ban.
Outrageous. It's the most unfair ban since Shane Warne got done for taking diet pills.
Topical. That was
That's not bad. That's this century. Don't start on me.
That was the last World Cup in England, wasn't it?
That was in South Africa.
Oh, was it in South Africa? Oh, okay.
Last World Cup in England was 99.
Where I thought
Lance Clues no run out, if you remember that. Alan Donald Lance Clues.
I'm still having therapy for it. Never mind, do I remember it? Sure.
What's worse, that or Gareth Southgate's miss and the 1996 European?
Oh.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Maybe. But yeah, we're back from the ban. Do you know when we
went a bit KP there, didn't you? Back for the ban. That's what you were going to say.
It's really funny actually because I saw a comment when we did put the video up originally. It was like, "Oh, the boys are back," and we were only
Who
back.
said that?
Some
loser.
Our one fan.
Was it you, Noobs? Was it you, Noobs? It was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, someone put a comment down saying, "Oh, the boys are back for a day, and then we got banned for like 3 months."
I don't know why, because there's no videos.
Apparently, we were using someone else's content, and they got banned. And then
whose content?
It was our own.
And also, what are the chances of another concept being as banal and useless as ours? Why would we copy that?
Who would own up to being the rightful owners to this crappy content?
This is how you know it's not scripted. It's scripted to be a lot better than this.
So we need to talk about this World Cup. We'll have we
need to talk about this conspiracy theory. Is what we need to talk about.
Yeah, I've got a conspiracy theory. So,
go on.
What I've been hearing, and rumours have been going around in the cricketing world, that India deliberately lost against England because it would make it harder for Pakistan to qualify. And I thought, hang on, has anyone else seen Virat Kohli play and how he plays cricket? Do you really think he would want to lose a match?
Yeah, but he was out by then. MS was in at the end, wasn't he? Poodling about when they did 15 and over, getting a little single here, single there.
So are you saying MS is corrupt?
I'm saying MS hates Pakistan. Anyone can disprove that.
Someone said to me, they lost it on purpose. And he goes, well, you know, it was a tactic. And I said, wouldn't it be better if they beat England and Pakistan got into the final?
Yeah, he'd rather beat Pakistan. Surely, he'd rather beat Pakistan.
Yeah.
Anyway, we know it was all that pesky short boundaries' fault.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's more conspiracies there, V.
No, I just think it's just so stupid, like how someone will say that this is why they deliberately lost, and it's like it's okay, they are allowed to lose matches. You know.
Well, I'm with him as an England fan in the 1990s. Man, God, there was a lot of conspiracies going on there.
Deliberately lost that one.
That's why I was amazed when that match fixing thing came under Lance Clues in the 1990s.
It wasn't last. It was Cronje, wasn't it? Hansi Cronje.
Didn't he get done? He got done at that World Cup as well. Was it that World Cup where he had the earpieces?
Yeah, 99 that was.
What? Yeah. Why would he have been told off for that though? I don't understand.
Well, it's against the rules. You're not meant to get any outside. Well, they tested it. I don't know if there was a specific rule that says, because when cricket was invented in like the 1600s, they probably didn't think that there'd be radio. the technology wasn't around, So I think, and that's probably what. But they said no, you can't do that because the captains are meant to think for themselves, I guess.
Yeah, but what do you think happens when the water drinks?
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
glove changes and back changes.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's just they didn't want to set a precedent because you could even have the affecting reviews and all of that. So
because South Africa were probably doing too good in the tournament.
Apparently,
and it was a conspiracy by MS Dhoni, even though he was only about 15 when that happened.
I think that's the theme, right? That's the theme.
I'm taking again MS Dhoni. That surprises you two, doesn't it?
I don't know. Well, it does actually, yeah. I was trying to stir the pot via text. I was furious with India, right? I don't care who wins. England or India, it didn't matter who won. It was, I spent...
because it's a group game, of course it doesn't matter.
You just want to be entertained.
I want to be entertained. I spent like 6, 7, 8 hours of my Sunday watching that match, and then it just turned into a shit show at the end. England did fine.
It was strange.
I think Noop summed it up the best, didn't it? Both teams scored over 300, and it was the most boring match ever.
It was one of the most boring matches of the tournament. Yeah,
certainly one of the most boring finishes. Not unlike England New Zealand the other day. But...
Oh, that was pretty good.
I was annoyed again. We saw 2 matches. We saw Bangladesh versus Pakistan. Bangladesh fought right down to the wire, and then we saw Sri Lanka versus
West Indies, was it?
West Indies, yeah,
Nice.
And West Indies fought right down to the end as well. And then we saw this, and New Zealand, who are doing really well in the whole tournament, became New Zealand again. I knew it. They're just chokers. They're not going to win. And this is the same with England and Australia, which we'll get into that. We'll get into that as well, because it's a match that matters. England are going to perform poorly, and Australia are going to jammily win with their jammy ways. They're so jammy.
What's that episode of The Mighty Boosh where he gets the chokes, he can't talk? He tries to become an actor. He gets the chokes and he just freezes up. That's going to be England on semi-final day.
Just that really weird face that Howard makes.
Yeah, an hour contemporary reference from me. I'm doing really well.
It's all right. We're getting there.
I'm getting better. I had 2003 World Cup. Mighty Boosh was about 2006, 7.
Yeah,
I'll soon be within 10 years. I'm getting there, guys.
Exactly.
I'm getting there. No, I was talking about my MS Dhoni.
Yes. Sorry, I went off on one, but gone.
He's keeping my boy Rishabh Pant out the team.
So,
well, he played the last couple, didn't he?
Well, I will forgive him if he's going to. I'll forgive him if Pant's going to play.
Explain to us, Kopi, why MS Dhoni is overrated. Go.
He's not overrated. He's just old now, is what I'm saying to you. He's
Does
old.
his house deserve to be stoned? Yes.
No.
Go.
I dare say it was. But, no, look. All joking apart, you know how I feel about MS, but I do think he might be hanging on a fraction too long.
Well, he made that statement last World Cup, if you remember, where
I won.
And he goes, "Do you think I'm still quick enough between the wickets? Yes. Do you think I can play next World Cup?" And the reporter's like, "Yes."
Yeah, well, that's in 2015, right?
Yeah, 2004 years ago.
But how old was he then, and how old is he now? It's not like, when you're 20 and then 24. It's not like that anymore.
I don't know how old MS is. There's something we ought to know, really. Someone look it up on their magic box.
Does anybody want to place a bet?
Oh,
35.
35, Kopi.
36.
36.
Dick move.
What? How old is he? 37.
38.
Ooh. So, you get my drift then.
Retire.
What was your guess, Nick?
Die. You should die.
38.
What?
No, hang on. Sit down. He'll walk out now and get 100 in the semi-final, 100 in the final, win the World Cup.
Yeah, India are like 17
which would be
for 5.
Which would be brilliant if they're playing Australia in the final, and annoying if they're playing us. So that's really where I'm coming from.
I have a really, really, really bad inkling that Australia are going to jammily win. They're going to do it. In which case,
India will give them a good poking in the final, and it'll be all right, won't they?
Yeah, well, 2003 finals. Remember that one?
Difficult actually, because they only had Shane Warne, Glenn McGrath, Ricky Ponting, Adam Gilchrist. Yeah, it's really hard to win the World Cup with that team. I stopped watching after a while. But being an England fan, World Cup semi-finals don't really have a lot of relevance. You've been talking about. I mean, we should examine. This would be interesting. The last time England got to a World Cup semi-final, I was 23. No, yeah, 23. V would have been about 6 or 7.
I don't think I was born.
You'd have been a toddler. I think
You would have been 3.
3.
How hairy were you when you were 3, Noops? That's what I'm interested to know.
Do you know? Have you seen that kid in China that was?
No. Oh no, you're going to pick on some innocent. Oh no.
Just Google hairy Chinese.
I'm googling nothing of the kind. I'm certainly not googling hairy Chinese anything. Let me tell you. I'm not getting into that sort of trouble again.
Any more conspiracy theories?
Yeah, Noops is trying to get me arrested. I think that's the conspiracy. Google hairy Chinese. Yeah, like the story.
Google clan. Really old clan.
Oh, dear.
Right, let's get some retrospect. Best players, top 3 players so far.
Afghanistan's, all of their team. They've been fantastic, haven't they? That's why you've got to have more inclusive World Cups. Let's get more of these smaller countries in, so, you know.
Cool, I'll ask the question again. Top 3 players of the World Cup.
Whoever's in the top 3 batting.
Well, Bumrah.
Lame.
If you're being serious, Bumrah, obviously. Right. Shakib. And who else shall I pick? Rishabh Pant, who, if he'd been allowed to play, would be top now. But
then that's
been scandalously gypped.
You're gut-tilling Rishabh Pant right now.
Better than gut-till.
You're gut-tilling him.
He's better than gut-till. I've just told you that.
Yeah, but how is
How's he better? I don't know. His genetics, training, skill.
No, I mean like in the World Cup. In the World Cup.
That is true. He outranked gut-till by at least 2 or 3 times.
I think Rohit Sharma's been the outstanding player.
Yeah, you got right, Sharma or David Warner, I suppose.
So 5 centuries by Sharma.
How do you think Virat's taken to that? Watch out for. I think Virat's going to run him out in the next game. There's every chance that could happen.
Speaking of run-outs, Hetmo, how many run-outs has he been involved in?
Oh, you like Hetmo, don't you? He's so dozy. He's got to wake up, isn't he?
I know.
Man, I love.
Yeah,
game
against New Zealand.
Game of the tournament, if they'd won that game against New Zealand, that would have been that. But they didn't. So it's tough shit.
What do you think of Chris Gayle?
Oh, he's over the top, and I think I like Chris Gayle, but I think he's a fine line between sort of he's basically the equivalent of Bumble in the players. There's a fine line between being eccentric and then taking the piss.
Yeah.
And if I was a West Indian fan, I'd be thinking, and he's talking who wants to carry on playing. I mean, how old is he? You talk about Dhoni. Was he 40? Chris Gayle?
I think he's 39 or something. I think that was an announcement. He said he's not putting his name down for the T20s, but he wants to play one day and
test matches for West Indies.
Yeah.
No,
you get
he said that in a press conference.
I think the problem was, did you see when Archer bowled at him?
No, I didn't.
Archer just looked a bit too quick for him, and that can happen when you get to that age. And I'm just wondering, I don't want him to, you sometimes see these old boxers, they carry on too long, and you hate to see it. So I think those close to him should just have a word and convince him to say, look, this is probably your time. I see Imran Tahir and JP Duminy retired yesterday.
JP Duminy?
Yeah.
He's been around forever, though, hasn't he? Duminy.
Oh, yeah.
He's always been a bit of a mere player, hasn't he, JP Duminy?
Yeah.
Hanging on, clinging on. He's a little Klingon, isn't he? He's that little bit of shit that you have to shake your arse.
Blimey! Jesus, you're in a good mood today, Nick. What's happened to you?
Tahir's celebration, they beat Australia.
Is it worse? Are you more annoyed by that or Ian Chappell?
And Shahid Afridi.
Yeah.
This team hates
I'm annoyed
him.
because he's off celebrating. It's like, mate, you've hardly won a game and you're out of the World Cup and you're off celebrating a team who's going.
Well, it's a bit like when old
Cultural and
you had Cultural when he gives the big salute.
It's like
there was a game in the Caribbean, wasn't there? England were about 340 to 6 or something. You give man. But I don't mind all of that. It all adds to a bit of a laugh.
What about Sheikh Darwin's little catch celebration thing as well?
Yeah, if you're not making hundreds,
that is excellent.
No,
that is good. That is good. He should definitely do that. I think he should play even with a broken finger.
Well, speaking of broken,
he was playing well, man. He was playing well,
or had a broken finger.
Jason Roy went in the hamstring.
But he came back not fully fit, and he's still better than Vince.
Yeah, poor old Joe. I don't know what's happened to him because, his career, 18 months, 2 years ago, he was looking like he could play in all 3 formats. And since then, he hasn't. He just looks like a pub player. It's unbelievable. Well, at the end of the day, this is the difference. You can get runs in county cricket, but when you get in with the big boys, you'll get found out if you're not up to it.
Yeah, I mean, Vince is basically, in the counties, is a big penis in a small bush, isn't he, really? I think...
I'm tempted to ask what you know about either of those things, but let's not.
One of them I do. But like...
You've got a small book.
Why is that an insult? I don't understand. They've got so many commentators, though. Obviously, they've got people from each team.
Who's the worst one? There's only one correct answer to this.
Well, I know V's going to say Harsha Bogle.
I don't mind
I've
him.
hardly ever heard him, though.
I don't mind him.
Okay, so who...
It's Michael Slater is the worst commentator, isn't it? That's clearly he's the worst one.
Why?
Well, because he's got to understand that we all know he wants Australia to win, but he has to have a pretense of impartiality. When Australia take a wicket, he's out of his chair and shit. Last night, for example, Mitchell Stark hit a 6.
Yeah.
And he's going, that's where the party zone is. This is Australia. And then the next ball, he gets and he's bowled him. Yeah, he has, mate.
He does do that. He does do that, yeah.
And
I think another play where I think David Warner, he'd hit one, it was just going over, and you could hear him when they put their mic down, but he's like shouting, you can just hear him going, go on, go over, you know.
Yeah. Which isn't particularly good. On the other hand, talking of Australian commentators, I think Michael Clarke's excellent.
I think he's
so. Your dream team is Michael Clarke and Nasser Hussain.
Yes, I'd even put in a Kumar Sangakkara in there as well.
Yeah, you like Kumar, but I take against him because he used to play for Surrey, so I'm going to have to.
The only thing with Kumar Sangakkara,
Ganguly's pretty good. Ganguly's pretty good.
Ask Dad though. Dad will hate him, won't he?
My dad hates him.
Why?
It's another one of his
he was an
irrational
aggressive captain. That's why.
Was it more than he hates you, Newt?
Yeah.
Blimey, that sounds something.
I just died a little bit inside. Thanks. Gets the biggest laugh out of the whole show.
I'm sorry about that, but you've got to be told.
My only issue with Sangakkara and
is that he's retired.
You can hear him get agitated when Sri Lanka are playing shit, and he's like, "Oh yeah, he should have put his front foot forward and
I know what you mean.
turned left."
It must be
good
annoying.
innings.
It must be annoying when you're as good as he was. Yeah. I'm making Nasser my favourite. He hasn't been grumpy enough. The trouble is, that's the only thing. They've all been a bit too friendly. I like a bit of needle.
He has been a little bit grumpy. I think he's been a little bit harsh on Rohit Sharma getting
500s in 9 games.
Yeah.
How has it been harsh on him?
He's been harsh on him, saying that he's got the 100 and then gets out very quickly afterwards.
Been a lot of that though in this World Cup. I think there's only a couple of players that have actually gone on, but most.
I don't know what the highest score of the World Cup is. Well, the pitches have been a bit. There was a time for about the last 3 years England would always chase, but now it seems to be a bat first World Cup.
Yeah, there's been a lot of what's it called, cricket played on these pitches, so they're going to wear out.
Did you just say what's it called? What's called the game we talk about?
Yeah, there's been a lot of cricket played.
Those whatchamacallit pitches, you know.
That thing with the ball and the wood.
Yeah. This is my issue with this World Cup. There's so many games, and we've just come out of an IPL season as well, and it's too much. It's just too much cricket. I can't do it. I'm
cricket show saying this is too
I'm breaking
much.
out, man. I'm breaking down, man. I can't handle it.
Is it because all of your favourite teams have been capped? Would you have been better off if Sri Lanka were winning? Well, New Zealand looked like they were going to cheer you up, and they scraped in by their fingernails.
Oh my god!
Their form has fallen off the edge of a cliff.
It's been the Kane Williamson show, isn't it? There was one game where he wouldn't even let Mitchell Santner bowl, and he thought, "No, fuck you, you're shit. I'm going to have a bowl instead."
But it seems to be
it
seems to be the main thing Kane Williamson has to avoid is being run out by Ross Taylor. He's obviously just a bad judge of a run.
It could be his eye. Like his periphery's gone now, isn't it? So he can't.
He's got bad depth perception.
Yeah.
No, I'm in.
Like
I cleared that ball to the fence. Oh no, it's the bowler.
That's exactly what has happened. That skin flap has taken over like a corner.
Oh, I've died a bit inside. I was hoping I could get through a Sunday without hearing the phrase skin flap.
What was I talking about? Oh yeah. The amount of games. We've just come out of IPL season. So many games. Too many games. I can't keep track of it. And that's why every single game has to be entertaining. Otherwise, after that England-India match, I just couldn't be bothered to watch any more cricket. I was like, I'm done. That took 8 hours out of my day. I'm done. And then and I missed 2 amazing matches afterwards.
Yeah.
Is anybody watching the highlights on YouTube?
That's illegal, man. Why didn't they get banned? Why didn't they get banned? Why do we get banned and they don't?
I like the bite-sized highlights they have on Sky.
Yeah.
They show a whole 50-over match in about 10 minutes.
on YouTube, they put it right down to 5 minutes.
It's 5 minutes highlights.
5-minute highlights for both sides.
That is
but they even miss out wickets though. They don't do any. They just show 6s, 4s, and even some
Yeah,
they even miss out on wickets.
I was watching one yesterday, and for some reason, then the Pakistani captain Sarfaraz was walking off, and I was like, "What happened here?" And then
they don't say
what's going on?
But what I mean is, it's not like they're limited to only 5 minutes.
I agree with you.
YouTube
They've
videos.
obviously done a deal of some sort, haven't they?
Oh God, it was just so pathetic. I'll get your website sorted.
I'll tell you another thing. I don't blame them for this because it's out of their hands. But they have these magic moments, and they go back to historical games between the two teams. So whenever England play, because they try and be balanced about it. So England are playing India, and they'll show India or New Zealand or whoever they're playing stuffing England at the last World Cup. And then for a bit of balance, they had to go back to a game when Graham Gooch was still playing. To find the last time England actually won a game against anyone, back to the 1980s. Oh, yeah. And the footage is all sort of grainy, they're all in whites, it's a red bomb. The only remarkable thing about that is you can see the scores, where 220 was considered a good score in 60 overs.
Wow.
Imagine if it was 60 overs, News. You'd be there even longer.
Oh no! It's going to be desperate, isn't it? It's trying to find a game England were good at, and they start. Remember those historical programs, those documentaries where they had drawings, medieval drawings.
That's what it's going to be.
And then the sound of cheers and war in the background.
That's what it will
Swords
be. It's
clanging.
an artist's impression of the last time England won a game in the World Cup.
This semi-final, so we've got New Zealand versus
India,
England, and then
in Manchester.
We'll do predictions for that one.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
sorry, India are going to win, obviously. But,
Top scorer, Rohit. Are we going to say or
depends. No, Virat's going to run him out. He's not going to part with this. It's all very well letting someone else be better than him, but not when the.
It'll be really funny if Dhoni becomes top scorer now.
Yeah, I'm backing Dhoni to get 200.
But Boovie, what happened to Boovie? He got space jammed. He wasn't playing well the other day.
Yeah. Don't know what happened there. I think you better explain what you mean by Space Jam.
Yeah, well, some aliens have come down and taken his powers and put it into some other player.
Who do you think's got Booby's powers?
That Bangladeshi bowler, the Fizz one.
No, he's not good looking enough, though, is he?
Well,
That's Booby's main power. Is his film star looks.
That's what it is. That's gone to his head. Yeah, he's listened to this podcast and thought, oh yeah, I'm
What do you think
I'm a
any
hot
subject to this podcast would think if they'd listen to it?
Well, to him it does. I think
MS
if you Google "sexy Boovadish," right, this podcast will come up as the only and lone result.
Yeah, nice try. I'm not Googling that either. What if I Google hairy Chinese Boovadish? See what happens?
So we think, well, we know India are going to win.
Yeah, we think it. India thinks it. New Zealand thinks it. All the world thinks it. Everyone knows what's going on. They might as well not play it.
And then Australia versus England. Okay.
You think Virat's going to get upset?
Yes, he's just an angry man, isn't he?
That's no
I
bet.
think Lord should put the pitch right next to the fence. I mean, right next to it.
They play on a nursery ground. They're not playing in the big ground. Thing,
Yeah, on the big ground, the pitch right next to the grandstand. I mean, right fucking next to it. So even the slips are in the crowd. That's what they've got to do. See what he says.
So I just had a really weird visual of that. It's so crazy. So we think, is Virat going to finally get the century?
Well, there are generational players, aren't there? And if we give that Virat Kohli's a once-in-a-generation player, World Cup final hundreds, Viv Richards, Ponting, this is his time. Captain, India chasing 300 or something, comes in at 50 for 2 or whatever, 50 for 1, guides them home. And that's probably written in the stars. That's what's going to happen.
So you think this is the game he's going to get the century?
No, I think he'll get a century in the final.
Right. So
I think against New Zealand's bowling attack, he'll be lucky to get in.
The finals of the Oval, right?
When Rohit gets another 100, he gets 100, gets out for 105, and NASA slags him off again.
Rohit's going to get a duck in the final.
I'm pretty sure Rohit's got more one-day centuries in this World Cup than NASA did in his career. I'm prepared to Google that.
NASA's won ODI 100.
Shut up! No,
Yes.
I don't
Was
think
it that
got
match?
one ODI 100.
Yeah.
It's-
Fucking 3.
Yeah, the game we lost. I don't believe it. It can't be right.
He's played 88 ODIs and
And he got 100.
he's got 1 century.
No wonder he's livid. So not only has Rohit Sharma got more one-day hundreds than NASA in this tournament, he's got more than him this week. I think Australia-England's got the looks of being a decent competitive game unless England get the old Howard Moon chokes.
That is the
Because Australia won't choke. We know this, don't we? They'll. This is one of the big Australian.
Do you think England have a better batting side than Australia?
Yes.
I think England are a better team than Australia.
Yes.
But if it was England, if it was some team if it was Sri Lanka or West Indies with England's personnel, I'd say this is a bang even game. Mm-hmm. Maybe advantage to the team that isn't Australia because I think the other team are better. But because it's England, and because England are serial chokers in World Cups and have been for 2 generations now. England have never won a World Cup. They lost 3 finals, bear in mind. I would go as far as to say if England don't win the World Cup, it would have to go down as a failure. You're the number 1 team in the world and you're at home. If you're not going to win it now, when are you going to win it? Sure. Well, fortunately, we're picking three of our best cricketers aren't English. So perhaps they won't choke. So basically, we need Roy Stokes to get the runs and Jofra Archer to bowl them out, and we might have half a chance.
I think Root is due a big score as well. I think he's his last few games he's kind of been under par. So
basically, as far as I can tell, according to NASA, unless you get 150, it doesn't really count. You might as well get 0. Yeah. Shit. To me, the one thing I would say to NASA, I don't think he ever claims to have been a brilliant player. To be fair, but it is a bit. He's better than Asher Bogley.
Yeah.
Asher doesn't slag people off that much, does he?
No, he just makes up stupid analogies.
Like, oh God, he's bloody touched the nerve there. Does he upset you? What's happened with you and Asher Bogley?
Pointless what he says.
Seems a bit of an irrational someone to dislike.
What did he say?
I don't know what he said in this World Cup, but he has.
But what's something he would say?
There was, I do remember one line he said. He goes, Dhoni runs faster than any other man.
Really? Usain Bolt's on the phone going,
I was like, excellent. And he said something silly like, I think Dhoni hit a 6, and it was a pretty big 6. And he goes, oh, they should give him 12 for that, just for the fraction. And I was like, what fractions? I don't understand.
The fractions?
Yeah. This is Harsha Bogle's line. Don't question me about it.
Well, you say it is, but, you could be lied.
Just like Alim Dar and his fake fucking black beard.
Well, V knows all about that. He knows all about dyeing the beard. I think what's happened, he shared a room with Ravi Shastri, and they've got the same. They've got the same sponsor. If you had someone with Ravi Shastri's hair and Alim Dar's beard,
don't get him umpiring test matches. He's going to suck the light out of the day. Every game will have to end early.
Cool, because all
that's what the light meter
into his beard.
That's what the light meter is measured.
That's why the pitches are getting so slow, because the heat's being absorbed into Alim Dar's beard. So at his end, all the pitches going all dusty and everything. It's terrible.
ODI bowlers, Bumrah is number 1, and
unsurprisingly,
Trent Bolt's number 2.
Trent Bolt's a good bowler.
So,
I just don't think he's as good as Bumrah.
So it'd be interesting in this next match coming up.
You're still carrying a bit of a torch for New Zealand, aren't you?
I've got a huge flame. I've got a raging flame for New Zealand.
He's got a raging flame with a small bush for New Zealand. Well, cricket's a funny old game. If New Zealand bat first and get a score, Guptill comes off, and they get 320, get a couple of early wickets, Bolt nips out. Right, then we'll see. It'll be on for young and old then.
I think India can chase down anything. If Dhoni's not playing. Dhoni's not having an episode.
Dhoni comes out and blocks the last 10 overs. Cummins.
Yes.
Cummins.
Yeah.
The man with the bluest eyes in the world.
Mitchell's...
Oh, you've noticed.
Cyborg eyes. I think he's a robot.
Actually, do you know what? For an Australian, Cummins does show off his eyes a lot.
Well, if you had eyes like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You don't love him, don't you?
He's the Terminator. I'm telling you, he's a robot. He's not here to play cricket. He's here to beat criminals from the future, or whatever the hell.
Well, he's in the right country, isn't he?
He is in Australia. There's loads of them, yeah.
Damn.
I think he's very blue-eyed, and I think that proves he's a robot, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Boovie or Cummins? You had to pick one.
Oh, Boovie's a human being, for a start. If I had to pick one to what, by the way?
Well, that's between you and what you get up to on Saturday nights.
Mostly. Yeah, never mind. I've got to check that one back. I nearly said something. I don't think even we could have played out. Snog, marry...
Snog, marry, avoid.
Kill.
Snog, marry, kill.
Yeah.
Kill David Warner. No, that's harsh. I don't want him dead. Actually, no, that's not true. I do. No, I don't. Yeah, that's it. I'd snog. I love Pat Cummins, but I'd marry Booby. Hey, fuck that. I'd marry MS. He's got the most money, hasn't he?
What do you think Chris Gayle would say to Pat Cummins?
Oh, you think he'd chat him up? You think that him and Booby are so attractive that Chris would be able to help himself if he's been interviewed by him? This has all got a bit gay, this conversation. He'll edit all this out.
It's a sin! It's a sin! Right. Second semi-final, Australia, England. All jokes aside, who's going to get on top in this?
All jokes aside, I think it all depends if England can hold their bottle. Both teams play to the best of their ability. England will win. But I think Australia hardly ever choke on the big occasion, and England do it all the time.
Yeah.
So it'll be a question. Also, the toss is important. I think if England come back first, get some runs on the board, then it's a different ball game.
I think England are
we have to chase.
capable of chasing any turtle.
They're capable if they hold their nerve.
Yeah.
So your gut feeling?
Well, obviously, I expect Australia to win.
Okay.
But they shouldn't.
No,
They shouldn't.
They got a better
That's fine.
batting lineup.
That's fine.
I think Khawaja's injured as well, isn't he?
Yeah, why?
That
was
doesn't
another
hurt
one.
Australia. All that means is Steve Smith gets in sooner. We don't want Khawaja injured. We want him to make a miraculous recovery.
That could be an opening for Sean Marsh. Oh my god. I didn't even think about that.
Get Sean Marsh in.
No. What if Sean Marsh gets 100 in the World Cup semi-final against England?
So your gut feeling is
My gut feeling
England
is
to lose,
cock it
basically.
up and another sporting team
Right.
gets to disappoint me in this last 2 years of serial sporting disappointments.
B?
I'll
Gut
go
feeling.
back England. I'm going to back England.
Good lad.
Gut feeling.
You're wrong, but good lad.
No, I think England got better batting. all the
It's
way
his
down.
decision to make.
It is.
And you've seen how they go. They go hard batting.
Go hard or go home.
That's right. They do all the way down.
Gut feeling was Kopi that Australia win, and yours was
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
England win.
Yeah.
Top scorer?
Roy for England.
I'm going to say
and
Cope's going to
probably-
say Warner, isn't he?
I'm afraid so. This is turning into a real nightmare scenario for me. Warner or Smith, probably. But there's no good top scorer for me for Australia.
Smith hasn't really done anything yet.
And Smith, we had a very un-Smith-like dismissal yesterday. Did you see it? He did what he normally does, shuffle across the
Oh,
stumps
yes.
and-
he got
He got
an LBW.
LBW, yeah.
He missed one, and that's unusual for Smith. And I'm hoping it's because we've
Space
long
Jam.
said, haven't we, once his eyes go, he's not going to have a long career. He's got no technique whatsoever.
Space
And I'm
Jam.
hoping now he's 30, his eyes have gone, and this is it. So cue him getting 150 on Thursday. And I think England, I assume, win or lose, Owen Morgan will retire at the end of this. Well,
Your views on Owen Morgan? Good, bad?
you know my view. Well, I think he's going to have to get some runs in an important game. I think he'll get bounced out again. In terms of his leadership, the players obviously like him. I still think that his non-arrival on that Bangladesh tour was reprehensible. But if he wins the World Cup, I will forgive him.
Cool.
And he never gets any runs for Middlesex when he plays for him, which pisses me off. Choke.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, we choked again. We're going to call it a case of the Howards.
Good.
Good.
I think New Zealand will win. India are due a bad loss.
Do you really think New Zealand can win, Noobs?
We're talking gut feeling, right?
Yeah.
So deep down in my
You-
diarrhea, butt porridgey gut feeling,
Oh, no.
I think
Oh.
if we really sift through the sewage, there is
There's
something.
a chance. Crikey. You can get 23 to 10 against
Yes.
New Zealand winning. So if you've got a fiver, stick it on, you win 12.
Shall I do it? Shall I put my money where my mouth is?
It's up to you.
I'll
If
do
you want
it.
to lose your money, you could just send it to me. I'm not betting with Nukes. I already have a bottle of scotch. Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I haven't told the procurement officer about that yet. She's going to be furious.
Get the smallest one you can find.
She would understand.
That's it. Well done, V. I said he could have a bottle. I didn't say what size it would be.
Little, that is.
I'm going to now
That's
spend. I'm going to spend. Look, what's going to happen now is I'm going to spend more money than I would on a normal bottle, getting an infeasibly small bottle, getting a special label printed. That's what's going to happen now.
Little custom made nagging. You are like that. You're as corrupt as Dhoni right now.
Who said Dhoni was corrupt? Did I say that? I didn't say that.
You did.
Oh no.